5 shocking secrets and hidden theories you probably didn't know about Stranger Things 5. I honestly can't believe this just happened, but yes, the Duffer Brothers and the main cast have finally broken their silence. In a brand new Time magazine interview, they revealed massive details about the final season. And trust me, these changes could completely reshape everything we thought we knew about Hawkins. From unexpected alliances to terrifying twists, this is the biggest info drop we've had so far. And you're not ready for what's coming next. So, on the cover of Time magazine we see the entire core cast of Stranger Things: Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard, Noah Schnapp, Sadie Sink, Gaten Matarazzo and Caleb McLaughlin, the OG crew, and yes, they've finally opened up about what's coming in Season 5. And, trust me, it's way darker than any of us imagined. One of the biggest bombshells they revealed is that Eleven will be hunted by a brand new group known as the Wolfpack, led by a mysterious scientist named Dr. K. And here's the thing, the government will also take a much more aggressive role this season. That means Eleven will spend a big part of the story hiding, surviving and constantly on the run. Now, here's where things get really interesting. We already know Season 5 will feature a time jump of about a year and a half, moving from spring 1986 to fall 1987. So, that raises one massive question: how has Eleven managed to stay hidden for that long? Well, this is where the most talked about theory right now comes in. To survive, Eleven may have developed an entirely new power. Until now, we've seen her track people from a distance by entering that dark, mental, void-like state. But this time, she might have evolved that ability, turning it into something even more powerful. Imagine this. Eleven might now have a passive radar-like sense that allows her to detect the presence or even the intentions of anyone hunting her, like she can feel when danger is approaching. And if you think about it, that would perfectly explain how the government hasn't caught her yet, even after more than a year of searching, because let's be honest, staying hidden that long without a new ability, that just wouldn't make sense. But hold on. That's just the beginning. What comes next might completely change how we see one mysterious new character in Stranger Things 5. In that same Time magazine interview, the cast and creators dropped another detail that many fans totally missed. But it might confirm whether Linda Hamilton's character, Dr. K, is going to be good or bad. According to what they said, Dr. K leads the Wolfpack, the very group hunting Eleven. So naturally, most fans believe she'll be some sort of antagonist, someone sent to capture or possibly destroy Eleven. And remember, the government still thinks Eleven is behind everything that happened in Hawkins. So, it looks like they're coming after her harder than ever before. There's even a rumor that Lieutenant Colonel Sullivan, yep, the same guy who tried to hunt Eleven in Season 4, might return in Season 5, possibly promoted to General Sullivan. That would definitely raise the stakes even higher. But here's where things take an unexpected twist. What if Dr. K isn't actually out to capture Eleven, but to protect her? Maybe she knows something no one else does, something that could be the key to defeating Vecna once and for all. And that's not just a wild guess. If you look at Linda Hamilton's entire career, she's rarely, if ever, played a straight-up villain. She's always been the hero, the survivor, the fighter, never the cold-hearted antagonist. So, if she does turn out to be the villain in Stranger Things 5, it would be the first time in her career. And honestly, I find that a little hard to believe. But what do you think? Will Linda Hamilton's Dr. K become Eleven's greatest threat, or her most unexpected ally? Let me know your thoughts down below, because this could change everything we think we know about the final season of Stranger Things. If you're still watching right now, that means you truly enjoyed this video, and that honestly means the world to me. So please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Every single one of you helps this community grow, and together, we're building something really special here. You've probably already seen this image, and, if you haven't, get ready because it's absolutely insane. Empire just revealed a brutal image of this massive Demogorgon, and yes, as had been mentioned before, this would be its final form. An adult Demogorgon, bigger, stronger, and much more terrifying. But here's the interesting part. This image perfectly matches another one we saw in the trailers, where Lucas, apparently inside the tunnels under Hawkins, looks at something with great terror. Some fans believe that the only way Lucas could survive this attack is if the group finally figures out how to block Vecna's control over the creatures of the Upside Down, perhaps by using some radio frequency and amplifying the decibels. Let's just remember that these elements will be very important in Season 5. We've clearly seen them in the trailers. Although, of course, even without Vecna, this creature is a monster, and as we can see, still a predator. If that's the case, Lucas would be facing a beast that only knows one thing: to devour. But well, maybe by some miracle, he could survive. And we continue with more details revealed in the recent Time magazine interview. They revealed something very shocking about Max. Max is still in a coma halfway through the season, but she's clearly important, as it's implied that she'll be part of a plan to fight Vecna. Now, how can someone fight if they're still in a coma? And this is where a very crazy theory begins. So, a lot of fans actually believe that Max will develop some new mental powers and could, communicate with her friends from a mental or even a telepathic plane, helping them out against Vecna without actually physically waking up. And there's even more to it. This could totally tie in with a recent image we saw from the 5th season. Now, for some time, there have been these alleged leaks. And I say alleged because, honestly, I couldn't find a real source, but I'll bring it up here since it fits so well, suggesting that Lucas would be the only one able to hear Max, thanks to the really strong emotional connection between them. That being said, if we look again at this recent image published by Empire, where Lucas is in danger down in the Hawkins tunnels, facing a massive Demogorgon, the answer to how he could escape becomes pretty clear. Max herself, from this mental plane, would use her power to block Vecna's influence over the creature and, in doing so, save Lucas. Like I'm saying, this would be her way of fighting from another plane. And this, honestly, I can't believe I didn't notice before. I really was blind. A new image from Stranger Things 5 just confirmed something very important about Dustin's character. Let's remember that for the people of Hawkins, Eddie Munson is still seen as the leader of a satanic cult responsible for the deaths in Season 4. Although we know Eddie is innocent, the townspeople don't. In their eyes, he died as a true monster, and for that reason, anyone associated with the Hellfire Club, including Dustin, might still be labeled as part of this supposed cult. And the most surprising thing is that in this new image, Dustin apparently continues to proudly wear his Hellfire Club shirt, showing his loyalty to his friend Eddie, even if it means facing rejection from everyone. So, yes, it seems Dustin has been taking beatings and constant mockery, especially from the new captain of the Hawkins High basketball team, who is probably this character we see intimidating Dustin here. And in fact, if you think about it, that would explain why we've seen Dustin in trailer scenes with a black eye, as if he'd been hit hard. That said, the only question left is, will Dustin be able to clear Eddie Munson's name by the end of this series? Because I think a lot of us are hoping for that, right? On the screen right now, you're seeing a new official image released exclusively by Variety, authorized by Netflix. And it's a big one. A breakfast scene at the Wheeler house featuring way more characters than we expected. Interestingly, this image had actually leaked the night before, on Tuesday, October 14th. Then, on Wednesday, October 15th, it was officially published in the Variety article. Now let's break down what this image really means, because there's a lot to unpack here. First, the characters at the Wheelers. In the corner, there's a big focus on a character who's going to be very important this season, Holly Wheeler. She's now played by an older actress thanks to the time jump. We already knew about the time jump from set leaks, but now its exact duration has finally been confirmed. I'll get to that in a second. In the image, Holly is calmly reading a book while all the conversations, interactions, and even some silly arguments happen around her. She's not really engaged with what's going on at the table. In the center of the image, we see Karen Wheeler, Holly's mom, with her signature big, voluminous hair. She's seated at one end of the table, while Ted Wheeler, usually one of the least seen characters, sits at the other end. But here's the thing. Ted is expected to play a much bigger role this season. Pay close attention to his clothes because the outfits in this scene are especially important. Now wrapping up the Wheelers, we've got Mike. If you look carefully, his outfit might actually be the same one he wears in the scenes where he visits 11 at WSQK, the radio station. It's not 100% confirmed, but the details line up. Focus on the beige collar of his shirt. When compared to the leaked rooftop images from last year, Mike has a jacket over it, but the shirt underneath seems to match perfectly. The darker tone in this image is likely just from the quality, but you can clearly see that beige collar. If that's the case, this scene could take place on the same day, suggesting this breakfast happens right before Mike goes to visit 11. And remember, Mike hasn't seen her in a while, because 11 isn't living with anyone anymore. She's staying at the radio station, which also has an underground bunker, as she hides from the military forces hunting her down. If you're still here watching right now, that honestly means the world to me. It shows you're truly enjoying the video. So please take a second to hit that like button. It might feel small, but for this channel, it makes a huge difference and really helps us grow together as a community. Moving on from Mike, we get to the last wheeler at the table, Nancy, sipping some juice next to Jonathan. Jonathan's having a bit of an argument with Will. We'll talk about that, but I want you to look closely at her outfit. It ties heavily into Ted's outfit that I mentioned earlier. A lot of things are starting to connect here, including with separate promotional material I'll talk about. Moving on in the image, let's get to the last two, basically the outsiders here. We have the buyers. Besides Jonathan, there's Will and Joyce having breakfast. It's not even a dinner, which is interesting to think about. In American households, meals where everyone sits at the table are usually breakfast or dinner. Lunch is usually on the go, a quick thing kids eat at school. The only possibility for a meal where the buyers would be visiting the Wheelers would be dinner, but it's not super common for one family to be at another's house for breakfast. What does this suggest? That the buyers might be living with the Wheelers. Yup, Joyce, Will, and Jonathan can't stay at their own house. It could be something related to the military watching them, or something tied to the upside-down situation. I'm blanking here. I can't remember if the fourth season showed their house being destroyed by the rift or not. If it did, forgive me for the mix-up, but if it didn't, this could show that something happened, so they're staying with the Wheelers. It's another interesting theory. We see that the main interaction at the table is between Will and Jonathan, the two of them arguing, but with the main points of the image analyzed, let's get to what matters. This image seems to connect heavily to the disaster. And what's the disaster I'm talking about? The attack at the Wheeler house. Obviously, every week we're getting more clues and understanding more about how this Demogorgon or Demogorgon attack scene at the Wheeler house is set up. We can't quite tell which creature it is, because they're very similar. First, this scene is clearly before the attack. The disaster hasn't happened yet. Everyone's still calm. So this scene is probably somewhere in the middle to the end of episode 1, because the Wheelers, especially, are wearing the same clothes as in the attack. That's what I wanted to emphasize. It could also be a scene right at the start of the first episode. Keep in mind there won't be big-time jumps during the episodes. There's the big-time jump at the start of the season, and there might be one in the final minutes of the last episode, but in the middle of the season, it's continuous. Most likely, 2 episodes happen on the same day, and sometimes the characters are wearing the same clothes. Now, I want to focus on a commercial that was recently released among all these Stranger Things promotional materials. There's a huge supermarket chain in the US called Target, which is the main place where people can go and find a ton of Stranger Things 5 merch already. They released this commercial you're seeing on the screen, which is basically a Target ad mixed with a Stranger Things 5 scene. That's right, it might be the first official sneak peek, like a continuous scene we've got. You can see Ted Wheeler sitting in his classic armchair, doing nothing as usual, when things start going wrong. Something weird plays on the TV that he doesn't like, cheese puffs fall, and then all the fridge magnets drop, which is a clear sign of upside-down interference, the loss of magnetism, right? You know what I'm talking about. Here's the thing, when this commercial came out last week, a lot of people started questioning whether it was just a commercial, filmed solely for the ad, or an actual Stranger Things 5 scene, because it feels so legit. The filter, the editing, the situation, the continuity, it all looks like a real scene from the show. It seemed like they used a Stranger Things scene for the Target ad as a little teaser. And with this new image from Variety and the outfit we see on Ted, we get confirmation that it's likely a real scene. If you look at the sweater Ted's wearing in the breakfast scene, it's the exact same sweater he's wearing in the Target commercial, indicating that this is a real Stranger Things scene they used for the ad. It's a scene that happens right after the calm breakfast we saw in the image, starting to introduce the attack at the Wheeler house, which, in all likelihood, 99% chance, will kill Ted. He's one of the Wheelers who's going to have a brutal death, impacting the whole family. It's going to be heavy. As you can see, it starts with him chilling, relaxed, even saying, "Karen, we're out of cheese puffs, right?" And no one responds to him either. And here's another point that connects. Remember I mentioned Nancy's outfit? In this new official image, if you look closely, you can see the pink sweater Nancy's wearing, which is the exact same sweater she's wearing in 2 scenes from the July teaser. In one, You can't see the sweater well because it's under a denim shirt, but if you look at different frames, you'll see it. You can even see the collar at her neck. It's the exact moment when she arrives to stop what's happening, the attack at the Wheeler house. Her father probably just died, and she's wearing the same outfit, just with a shirt over it. It all happens on the same day, and the other scene from the teaser, where she's wearing the same sweater, is her washing blood off her hands, crying, clearly in a hospital after taking her mom, who's gravely injured, to try to save her. Her dad likely died by then. We know from set leaks that Karen ends up in the hospital, critically injured, between life and death. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't just scroll away. Smash that mega like, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss the next big Stranger Things 5 reveal. Trust me, what's coming next is even crazier than this. That's all for today's video. Stay curious, stay strange, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I breathe.